So this is going to be another movie review. Sorry about that. I have my mic turned down to zero, thinking that it wasn't turned on, but actually it was turned off. I'm rather dyslexic today. This one's called Salvo. It's going to be an Italian flick from 2013. It's about a hitman who falls in love with his victim's sister. Gee, when haven't they thought of that before? This movie doesn't gain any points for originality. Although she is blind in the beginning and she regains her vision, which is highly implausible, if not impossible. It starts out with the hitman getting ambushed by all these gunmen. Then he goes after them, kills the guy who's given the orders, I guess, whose sister also happens to be the blind girl. He pulls down her head like he's going to shoot her in the head, and then he changes his mind. I don't know if it was the cheesy Italian pop song that she was listening to. I guess that got his attention. I don't know. He lost his hitman instinct and he became more like a regular guy. So he's kind of pretending like he killed her to the mafioso boss. Eventually they figure it out though, and he's keeping her the whole time in this what looks like an old and unused industrial yard. He's got her locked up in some kind of metal shack. Pretty cool looking place. I mean, dark and dreary. That's the only thing I like about this movie, really. A lot of shots of the back of people's heads and jump cuts and stuff. Trying to be trendy and artsy like Godard, I guess. I really couldn't see the artsiness in this film. I just thought it was too long and drawn out. It's almost 2 hours long of just people standing around and doing not much of anything, hardly any dialogue in this movie. So it's about the equivalent of watching paint dry, I guess. When you watch some of these wannabe art films, like Salvo. The guy's kind of skinny and buffed. He's got sideburns. He looked like me 20 years ago when I smoked cigarettes and I weighed 180 pounds. And he's got a suntan all over. I guess that comes from living in Italy. The gal wasn't that attractive to me. I mean, her face is kind of interesting, but not much else. I don't know how she pulled off acting blind. That was pretty good acting, I have to admit. But she doesn't say much in this movie. Nobody says much in this movie. Just a bunch of people walking around or sitting around. Not too much action going on here. And not much dialogue, so it's not really a soap opera. It's more like an anti-soap opera, I guess. I don't know. This film is quite remarkable for the lack of dialogue. I mean, Frozen Flesh comes to mind, just watching all these images and noises and not much else. I don't know why this movie reminded me of Frozen Flesh. So the industrial yard looked pretty cool. It was kind of dark and dreary. Um, the actress playing the blind girl was a pretty good actress. The hitman just kind of has this mean looking stare the whole time. I wasn't too impressed by it. Actually, it was quite boring, if you ask me. The film did kind of keep me going. I mean, it wasn't boring to the point where I shut it off. So I can't really say that I shut it off just for the sake of shutting it off. I shut it off because I ran out of time with my son at the library. It was time to go to church. So, anyways, not a great flick, not even a good flick. I can't recommend it, can't say check it out. It's really, most of it is really quite boring, actually. At one point, she cuts herself, and again, I'm not sure how she regains her vision. I guess it's supposed to be an allegory of how her love develops for this guy, because she realizes that he's actually protecting her from the mafiosa, and he's willing to risk his life for her, that kind of stuff. But you wouldn't get that from the dialogue. You just kind of get that from their gestures and not much else. So I guess it's a movie that kind of keeps you guessing what they're actually thinking. Although you don't have to guess too hard, because you can kind of tell by their gestures towards each other. It goes from violent to affectionate, let me just put it to you that way. Which again, I mean, highly unlikely, seeing as how he exterminated her brother. She must have feelings for her brother, I would imagine. Some kind of feelings. So it's hard to understand how she could forgive him for that, but it's another one of those unexplained things in this movie. You never really get to you never really get a grasp on what they're thinking or what's going through their mind at any particular point in time. It's mostly emotions and no dialogue, I guess you could say. So not my kind of flick. Not a big fan of European artsy flicks. Although I'm really looking forward to watching Deadly Code, which is another Italian flick. Hopefully it's like Cargo 200, one of my favorite movies of all time, probably in my top 10. Cargo 200 is friggin' awesome. I saw that movie and it blew me away. I'd probably rank it number 2 as my all-time favorite movies, right behind Seconds. Yeah, Cargo 200. Anyways, check out Deadly Code and I'll tell you what I think. I just got Texas Chainsaw, which is the last of the Texas Chainsaw Massacre movies, I believe, from 2013. And I got the MLA bonus disc, the movie that Don White recommended to me. I didn't think it was that great. I've got another Hayao Miyazaki movie in the mail, as I guess it's in transit. I'll let my son watch it, see if he gets bored with it, like I always do with Miyazaki movies. Um, Although House Moving Castle wasn't too bad. So that's what I got coming down the pike. If you're interested in seeing those reviews, give you a little teaser. I'm starting to add a bunch of Canon films to my Netflix queue, so I'll probably get around to reviewing those 3 years from now, because right now they're at number 500 on my Netflix queue. So there's that. I finally got through the busiest actors, all 10 of them. So I got Karen Black, Emmett Walsh, Ned Beatty, who else? Busiest actors. Let me look it up. Busiest actors. Got it from my Psychotronic video guide. Okay, we got David Carradine. So I've already reviewed a bunch of his. I'm about halfway through before I get interrupted with my libertarian list, which was quite crappy. Fortunately, I interrupted it with the libertarian list with Piranha DD, Encounters of the Spooky Kind, another martial arts flick that I don't remember, and Texas Chainsaw. Oh, Shannon Tweed, Troy Donahue, William Smith, George Kennedy. So that rounds out a good chunk of my Netflix queue during the next 3 years. Be watching movies with those actors. I know George Kennedy just died recently, which is unfortunate. He was in the lame-ass Naked Gun movies, which I didn't care for. I thought they were stereotyped and dumb. Airplane can be the same way sometimes, especially the sequel was pretty dumb. I guess I like those kind of movies more than when I was a kid, but not as an adult. Your taste and your mood kind of changes as you grow older. So, what else can I say about this movie? I get to see Italy in 2013. The mafioso boss with the Donald Trump hairdo and the Run D.M.C jumpsuit looks pretty ridiculous. I thought he looked like a pretty good choice for mafioso boss. The hitman was just kind of meh. Didn't say much. Just had the scowl on his face the whole time, which got old real quick. And you don't see him like getting in too many action scenes. You expect more action in a movie like this, but I don't know how to describe this movie. It's not really a soap opera. It's not really an action film. So I guess it gets originality points, not for the storyline or the plot, but, well, actually there is no plot, but more for the lack of dialogue and use of actors' emotions to sort of compensate for the lack of dialogue, I guess. I don't know. I'm not pretending to be a film expert, but that's just how it came across to me anyway. If you want to check it out, or if you've already seen it and you don't like my review, post a comment, or whatever's on your mind. I'm pretty open to comments. Unless it's really nasty, then I'll remove it. I don't like anybody pissing on my channel. Know what I'm saying? It's like those rowdy kids who are banging their chair into my son at the library, cursing and yelling and running around like wild animals. I shoved the teenage kid, and then the cop said, "You're not allowed to touch kids." I said, "What about what he did to my son?" Besides, the librarian said she was going to kick him out twice. She did absolutely nothing. So now I'm going to Belmont Library. It's much more quiet and less rowdy. I guess the kids are more affluent over there. They don't come from the other side of the train tracks, if you know what I mean. Unfortunately, that library isn't open on Thursday nights, so I'm going to take my son to Starbucks in San Mateo. It's going to be cold as hell, so better bring my earphones so we can go inside and sit. So, not to get into my personal life again, I just wanted to sort of tell you about all the weird stuff that's going on. What else can I say? Oh yeah, I made an analogy of annoying comments in my channel to those riffraff kids at the library. So whatever's on your mind, let me know. Can't recommend it, can't say check it out. So that's the end of my review. 2 out of 5 stars. Laters.